Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We are here for a special uranium update. This is from Kuppy. If you guys don't know who Kuppy is, he's kind of like a Justin Hune, except he has a firm where he invests the money for you rather than providing a model portfolio. All right. Kuppy just got back from the World Nuclear Association conference that was in London, the WNA. Okay, that just happened. He just put out this article yesterday. I wanted to get out to you guys as soon as I can. All right, now he kind of references the movie The Big Short. We're all familiar with Michael Burry and how he shorted the housing market in 2008 and made a pile of money on it when the housing market crashed, right? Okay, he said that's kind of how he felt in the scene in that movie. If you go to the article, he's got a quick 3-minute clip of it. It's great. You get the link will be in the show notes. Check it out. There's a part in that movie where the finance guys go to the housing market conference, and they're the only ones in the whole conference that know and understand that the housing market is about to crash, and no one at the conference except for them sees this coming, right? Kuppy says, I felt similarly last week as I roamed around the World Nuclear Association conference in London. I felt like I was attending the Bigger Short conference. Out of approximately 750 industry attendees, maybe a dozen of us got the joke, and we were all finance guys. The industry guys seemed oblivious to the potential squeeze on supply, just like there had never been a nationwide housing crash during the era of securitizations. There had never been a structural deficit in the lives of the attendees. Since it hadn't happened before, no one thought through the ultimate ramifications. In fact, most of the attendees were functionally short uranium and getting shorter by consuming inventories, lending inventories, or even selling down inventories. Meanwhile, those with contract coverage had never even considered the counterparty risks entailed with doing business in funny countries with transport limitations. He's talking about Kazakhstan and Niger, right? These people have absolutely no idea that the price of uranium has to go to $80 or we just don't have electricity. All right, I'll continue. I'm summarizing here. The story gets even better. All right. We all know about the supply and demand deficit, right? I'll summarize it here. All right. In 2024, primary supply will be 150 million pounds. Secondary supply will be 10 million pounds for a total supply of 160 million pounds. Meanwhile, primary demand is going to be 190 million pounds. Initial fuel loadings will be 15 million pounds, and overfeeding will require another 5 million pounds for a total demand of 210. So 160 supply, 210 demand, deficit of 50 million pounds. We've all heard numbers somewhere around there in between, anywhere from 40 to 60 million pound deficits. I've heard as high as 65, but you guys get the picture. You know what we're talking about. All right. Okay. Now, there are a lot of assumptions going into this, and I'm likely off by a few million pounds. Okay, yeah, we got that. Of course, all this assumes that Cameco hits their targets after guiding down production for 2023. Kazatomprom hits their targets despite extreme difficulty in hitting production targets for a number of years, and then Niger gets its S in order. Despite a coup and the shuttering of mining operations, that no other mines have technical issues, and that more reactors don't get lifetime extensions or permissions to restart. Finally, this assumes no government stockpiling, and more importantly, no investment demand that sequesters pounds, despite investment demand by SPUT, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, Yellowcake, we all know about Zuri, right? When future additional reactors come online and overfeeding becomes a bigger source of demand, so, for 2024, we're estimating about 5 million pounds. That's going to be even more as they try to squeeze more lemons out of the lemon squeezer, right? While new mines take a while to finally start up. Okay, many at the conference seemed interested in increasing their inventory levels. Others complained about how it was becoming harder to source pounds from stable countries. No kidding. And how various loans needed to be extended as the pounds weren't available to unwind them. Yet, despite all of this evidence of a rapidly tightening market, most conference attendees were nonchalant about the future direction of pricing. They're oblivious. Okay. Moving on. Returning to my Big Short theme, one of the most memorable scenes in the movie was when the CDS buyers interviewed two mortgage brokers who were blatantly doing risky business. If you go to the link, you can watch the 3-minute clip. It's great. I experienced very similar conversations this week as fuel buyers. Okay, the people that require this stuff bragged about off takes from non-producing mines in countries with geopolitical risks and how they had already resold those pounds to utilities despite the mines not even having funding or, in some case, permits. We know how long permits can take. I spoke with utilities and enrichers who acknowledged a deficit, but said that the uranium price would only go up a few dollars from here as the price was already historically high. I met traders who shorted inventory to investment vehicles and were confused why those vehicles hadn't sold pounds back to the market. I met consumers who complained that they couldn't get shipments from Kazakhstan or Niger, yet had lent their limited stockpiles away and were now below critical inventory levels. Yeah, I wonder why they can't get them from Niger. Maybe it's because of the coup. I wonder why they can't get them from Kazakhstan. Okay? They can't get them from Kazakhstan because it costs them 20 times the amount to ship it to the West as it does to just ship it to China. That stuff's not coming here. It's going to China. All right? In summary, I met an industry who had no idea of what is coming. They're nice guys. They're trying to do their job. They're not dumb. In fact, most of them are nuclear engineers. They just have never contemplated that their little world has changed and their approach to that world hasn't. At the WNA conference, these guys simply didn't get the jokes. However, my finance friends and I sure did. In fact, we all we could think of was how amazing this setup was. All right, now, to be clear, the world is not going to run out of uranium. All right, it's actually quite plentiful as a commodity. Where I live here in Southern California, there's a big mountain range not too far from here that has a plethora of uranium in it, but there's a bunch of homes on it, so they're not going to drill and take it there. Okay, there's very few places on the planet where we can actually get this stuff, right? However, there appears to be a gap period where for a few years, the deficits will simply overwhelm the ability to ramp up production. I think that there will be a super spike in the uranium price, not a doubling or a tripling, but a true super spike that will stun everyone at this conference, especially as most of these guys are functionally short. Remember, as a utility, you're not allowed to run out of uranium. It takes months to shut down these nuclear reactors and then months to bring them back online. They can never turn them off, okay? They got to keep them running. So whatever the price of this commodity is, they've got to buy it. As we understand it right now, it's about 4% of their operating costs. Let's say it doubles and goes to 8. They're not going to turn the lights off for that. If the uranium price goes up, you simply chase it. Just because something hasn't happened to uranium yet doesn't mean that it cannot happen. The fact that none of them are considering that this could happen only increases the odds of it happening. I went to a conference expecting participants to be concerned, maybe even spooked about the accelerating deficits, along with the increasing inability of Western consumers to access Eastern materials. He's talking about Kazatomprom. The bifurcation of the market, the separation of the market between the East and West, is a severe risk to every player with an offtake and even to the functioning stability of the industry. Instead, everyone sort of shrugged and said that prices just can't go up. All right. Had he seen fear and panic, he would have known that we were in the end game. Instead, he realized just how early we are in this market. These are the people that need the uranium, and they think that $63 is historically high and it just can't go any higher. But you and I and everyone here knows that it's got to go to $80, or as Rick Rule says, the lights go out. Which is more likely? The price of this obscure element, molecule, goes up, or we simply don't have electricity. Thank you for watching. The link to Kuppy's article will be in the show notes. Support the show, hit the like and subscribe, and we will talk to you next time.